Hi friends, welcome to Lilybug's Library. My name's Linda, and you know what I always think about this time of year? Besides the fact that it's cold, and I always think, oh, isn't summer here yet? I also tend to start thinking about farms and farmers because we live in a pretty agricultural area, and Canada has a lot of farming. And as well as I'm sure, many other places in the world, lots of places in the US as well. But you really, because we do so much with the seasons, you really start to think in the spring and towards the summer about, what crops are starting to be ready. And, you're spending a lot of time going to the farmer's market, that sort of thing. So, with that in mind, I found some terrific farm cozies that I thought we would talk about today. So the first one is called Who Moved My Goat Cheese? And it's a farm to fork #1. And it says Angie Turner hopes her new farm to table restaurant can be a fresh start in her old hometown in rural Idaho. Angie and her best friend Felicia are scrambling to line up local vendors. Fortunately, Moss, a cantankerous goat farmer, takes a shine to Angie, as does his kid goat Precious. So when Angie hears the blood-curdling news of foul play at the dairy farm, she jumps in to mind the man's livestock and helps solve the murder. One thing's for sure, there's no way Angie's going to let some killer get her goat. So it sounds like so much fun. And that one's by Lynn Cahoon. So the next one is called A Beeline to Murder, and it's a Henny Penny Farmette mystery #1. It says, after an injury forced her to leave the police department, Abigail Mackenzie started a second career as a farmer. But when she attempts to deliver her trademark honey to local pastry chef Jean-Louis Bonheur and finds him dead in his shop, her old investigative instincts kick in. After the coroner rules the death a suicide, the chef's handsome French-Canadian brother insists on hiring Abby to find out who really killed Jean-Louis. And it's by Mira Lester. And I think I'm keen to find out what that book has to offer. It sounds like it could be really good. And I think it's really neat that the sleuth was in the police department and now is a farmer. I think that's kind of a nice twist to it. So the next one is called Farm Fresh Murder, and it's a farmer's market mystery #1. Says Becca Robbins leads a simple life, making jams and preserves on her very own farm. But when there's a murder in her quaint little town, she puts herself in the line of fire to defend her friend's innocence and goes from making jam to being in one. And that one's by Paige Shelton. So I can't wait to get started on that one. That one sounds really good. So the next one is called Going Organic Can Kill You, a Blossom Valley mystery #1. Says, as Dana adjusts to life back home with her recently widowed mother, the latest career move isn't exactly a piece of cake. In fact, it's all tofu fish sticks, stuffed squash blossoms, and enough wheatgrass shots to scream bloody murder. Especially when Dana discovers the body of Maxwell Mendelsohn, Hollywood producer and opening weekend guest, deader than a yoga corpse pose. One thing's for certain, she better act fast before all this healthy living kills her. And that one's by Stacey McLaughlin. So I'm eager to explore that one. That one sounds really funny. So the next one has a bit of a different cover to it than a lot of cozies. But it's called Till the Cows Come Home, and it's a Stella Crown mystery #1. Says bookless Stella Crown works hard and loves her life. She runs her own Pennsylvania dairy farm with the trusted help of longtime farmhand Howie, who stuck with her after her parents died. She drives her Harley on the weekends and has just enough friends to suit her fiercely independent nature. But on her 29th birthday, things start to change. A local child dies from a strange and threatening illness. A string of mysterious disasters place Stella and her farm in peril, and her childhood friend Abe shows up with a new woman on his arm. It seems like bad luck run amok, but when her livestock begins turning up dead, Stella knows that something or someone is out to get her. And that one's by Judy Clemens. I have to confess that one doesn't sound very cozy to me. Seems like a lot of kind of heavy topics, but anyway, we'll see. The next one's called Dog Catcher in the Rye, and it's Bought the Farm mystery #1 by Ellen Briggs, I believe. Okay, I lost my place here. 1 second. Yeah, Ellen Riggs. Okay. And this one's been on my TBR for a while. So I'm anxious to get to it. It says, Ivy Galloway may not know an alpaca from a llama, but nothing's going to stop her from pursuing her dream of opening a farm-themed inn in her hometown of Clover Grove. Not after what she went through to rescue Keats, her brilliant border collie, and flee the big city. When Keats finds a body pushing up daisies in her rye field, however, the murder puts a blight on Abby's plans to welcome her first official guest in just 3 weeks. The police chief refuses to rush his investigation. Does he really believe she's a suspect, or is he just holding a grudge over what happened in high school? Well, that's the problem with small towns, right? Sometimes those things can happen. So the next one is called A Muddied Murder, and it's a Greenhouse Mystery #1. And I really like the cover on this one. It's nice and bright. It says, Megan Sawyer gives up her big city law career to care for her grandmother and run the family's organic farm and cafe, expecting to find peace and tranquility. Instead, her goat goes missing, rain muddies her fields, the town denies her business permits, and her family's colonial-era farm sucks up the remainder of her savings. Just when she thinks she's reached the bottom of the rain barrel, Megan and the town's hunky veterinarian discover the new zoning commissioner's battered body in her barn. Now Megan is thrust into the middle of a murder investigation, and she's the chief suspect. And that one's by Wendy Tyson. So I can't wait to get started on that one. That one sounds good. All right. And then the next one is called Chicken Culprit, Backyard Farming Mystery #1. Says Anne has an awful divorce and buys an old Victorian and leaves town. Yet before Anne's completely settled in, her neighbor is found dead in his compost pile. What's worse is that Anne's quirky young neighbor, Candy Jenkins, could be the killer. When Candy begs for her help, Anne feels she has no choice but to help the young woman. And that one's by Vicki Walton. So I'm eager to explore that. Doesn't tell you much about it, but I want to see where it goes. So the next one is Dead on the Vine. So this one is a Finn family farm mystery, #1. That's a hard one to say. So it says Charlotte Finn never wanted to inherit the family's produce farm, much less plow a heap of money into it. Her plan is to hammer a great big for sale sign on the farm's fallow furrows, but Charlotte's sunny hopes of a quick sale succumb to a killing frost when she finds a dead body entwined in the tomato vines. The poor man, it seems, was run through with a pitchfork. Now Charlotte is stuck with running the farm in the midst of a murder investigation. Charlotte turns to the farm's baby pig to help root out the killer. Soon the goats, geese, and horse join in, but will Charlotte harvest a murderer or buy the farm? And that one's by L. Brooke White. So all the talk about like baby pigs and goats and things, it kind of makes me think of Charlotte's Web. So I don't know. I'm curious what that one will be like. And then the last one is the only one that is not the beginning of a series, but I couldn't resist because it had such a quirky title, and I thought, oh, it really has to be included. So this one's #5 in the Black Sheep Knitting Mysteries, and it's called The Silence of the Llamas. So it says Ellie and Ben Kruger arrived in Plum Harbor, eager to live out their dream, tending a herd of gentle, friendly llamas for fun and profit on a farm just beyond the village. There starts to be a lot of vandalism in the village, and suddenly the vandalism turns to murder, and the Krugers' dream descends into a nightmare. The Black Sheep Knitters must pull the threads together and uncover this crafty menace before more lives and more llamas are lost. And that one's Anne Cadeo is the author. So I'm really excited about a lot of those. They all sound really cute and quirky, and I think some of the mysteries are going to be great. So hopefully you found one there that you like. I'd love to hear in the comments what one you're most interested in, or if you have some other farm mystery that you really fell in love with. So talk to you soon, friends. Bye-bye.